What if the most beautiful swing in baseball was actually a perfectly calibrated instrument of dread, a silent countdown to your team's inevitable demise? Imagine the mound, an island of desperate hope under the harsh, unforgiving glare of stadium lights. The pitcher, heart hammering against his ribs, the taste of metallic fear in his mouth, fixates on the batter's box. Not at a man, but at a looming, inescapable shadow that stretches beyond his control. Freddie Freeman steps into view, his approach deliberate, almost unnervingly serene, a study in contained power. He doesn't just prepare for a pitch, he prepares for the moment, that singular, terrifying fraction of a second when all possibility for the defense collapses into one cold, hard certainty. His gaze, unblinking, isn't aggressive in the typical competitive sense, it's analytical, dissecting, like a seasoned predator meticulously cataloging every tremor in the pitcher's posture, every almost imperceptible tell in the grip of the ball, every shift in the dugout's restless energy. A collective hush falls over the stadium, not in anticipation of a dramatic explosion, but in quiet, almost fearful observance of an impending, inevitable truth. There is no sudden, cathartic gasp of surprise with Freeman, only a slow, creeping realization of what is about to unfold, a chilling sense of déjà vu even before the pitch is thrown. The bat, initially held with a deceptively loose grip, quickly becomes an extension of his unwavering will, a silent, rhythmic pendulum of fate. Every preparatory motion is fluid, economical, devoid of any wasted energy, yet loaded with a silent, devastating power that pulses just beneath the surface. This isn't just about the physical act of hitting a baseball, it's about the slow, methodical erosion of hope from the opposing dugout, the psychological attrition of facing a hitter who simply cannot be fooled, cannot be rushed, cannot be beaten by anything less than pure, serendipitous luck. The ball leaves the hand, a blur of white against the night, hurtling towards its destiny. Time itself seems to distort, stretching and compressing around the singular point of contact. The swing begins, a perfect, seamless coil of contained violence, an arc of engineered precision that finds its mark with sickening consistency. It's not just a hit, it's a cold, calculated declaration, a perfectly placed missile into the cavernous gap, or a laser beam shot over the distant fence, leaving a tangible void in its wake, a missing run, a surrendered base, and an even deeper, more profound void in the hearts of the men who tried, in vain, to stop it. This isn't merely a game of chance for him, it's a chilling display of absolute, unsettling dominion, a continuous masterclass in how to bend the will of the game to his own unwavering design. The silence that follows a perfectly executed Freeman hit is often more terrifying than any roar, because it signifies not excitement, but a collective sigh of resigned defeat. This isn't the story of a raw, explosive talent who burst onto the scene in a supernova of raw power and unbridled theatrics. Freddie Freeman's ascent has been a quiet, relentless masterclass in refinement, a patient, almost obsessive honing of a craft that began on the dusty, sun-drenched fields of Southern California. From the very first time he donned a professional uniform, there was an unmistakable fluidity to his movements, a natural, almost balletic grace that belied the prodigious power he possessed. He was never just a hitter, he was a profound student of the plate, meticulously dissecting every pitcher's repertoire, every subtle change in their mechanics, every strategic pitch sequence, building an encyclopedic knowledge base that allowed him to manipulate the flow of the game to his profound advantage. This wasn't merely a player waiting for his pitch, this was a mind calculating complex probabilities, a statistical anomaly made flesh. In several of his elite seasons, Freddie Freeman has walked more times than he struck out, a testament to an almost preternatural ability to bend the strike zone to his will, a feat usually reserved for pure contact hitters, not power bats who can also launch the ball into orbit. It's a discipline so profound it borders on the obsessive, transforming the inherent chaos and unpredictability of a baseball game into a predictable, exploitable pattern for him. His swing, initially smooth and clean, evolved into a breathtaking symphony of controlled aggression, a rhythmic, almost hypnotic dance between perfect balance and explosive, directed power. He found his gap power not through brute, indiscriminate force, but through impeccable timing, a preternatural understanding of pitch location, and an uncanny ability to drive the ball to all fields with equal authority, turning even seemingly benign pitches into scorching line drive doubles that bled runs and extended rallies, slowly suffocating the opposition. This wasn't about hitting a few dramatic, highlight reel home runs, this was about creating a constant, suffocating pressure, chipping away at the opponent's resolve pitch by pitch, at-bat by at-bat, inning by inning. He became the undisputed anchor of his offenses, the steady, unwavering heartbeat that regulated the pulse of an entire team. His leadership wasn't always vocal, often manifesting as a quiet, indomitable confidence, a serene certainty that permeated the dugout, settling nerves and focusing minds during the most high-stakes moments. When the Atlanta Braves faced down the demons of decades of near misses and heartbreak, finally seizing a World Series title, it was Freeman standing at the absolute epicenter of that storm, a beacon of calm amidst the frenzy, his presence an almost tangible force. He had steered that ship through tumultuous, uncharted waters, his bat and his unwavering presence serving as a constant, reliable North Star. There's a deep-seated stoicism that underpins Freeman's unwavering presence, a quiet strength that emanates from within, rooted in a profound personal connection. He dedicates every single game to his late mother, wearing a tattoo of her initials on his forearm as a constant reminder and source of inner strength, a private covenant he maintains with every swing. This deep emotional bedrock translates into an utterly unflappable demeanor under the most intense, soul-crushing pressure, a trait that often makes him seem less human and more an unyielding, immutable force of nature when the stakes are highest, when the game hangs by a thread. His MVP season was not a capricious, flash-in-the-pan explosion of talent but the relentless culmination of years of unwavering dedication, a resounding testament to a balanced offensive approach that rarely faltered, never swayed from its calculated trajectory. He wasn't merely a power hitter or a contact specialist, he was both, seamlessly integrating the absolute best of all worlds into a singular, devastatingly complete package. The statistical numbers were undeniably staggering, but they only told a fraction of the story. The true narrative was meticulously written in the slumped shoulders of opposing pitchers, the exhausted, exasperated sighs from opposing managers, the slow, agonizing, dawning realization that they were simply, irrevocably outmatched by a player operating on a different, more refined plane of baseball existence, an almost unsettling level of control. Beyond the meticulous geometry of the batter's box, his dominion extends with equal, unsettling precision to the infield. At first base, Freddie Freeman isn't merely a fielder, he's an architect of outs, a quiet sentry whose movements are precise, anticipatory, almost chillingly precognizant. He has earned MVP honors not just because of his prodigious, consistent bat, but because his glove at first base is equally elite, transforming even the most errant, desperate throws into routine, almost effortless outs. He scoops balls from the unforgiving dirt with a magician's delicate touch, making impossible plays appear mundane, and saves countless runs with his incredible reach, his lightning-quick reflexes, and an instinct that seems to defy the ordinary limits of human perception. He's the silent, indispensable partner in countless double plays, the confident, unyielding target for frantic infielders who know a bad throw will be salvaged. He's always in the exact right place, always with the precise right play, a human vacuum cleaner on the diamond. His defensive prowess, often overshadowed by his offensive brilliance, nonetheless contributes just as much to that suffocating sense of inevitability for opponents. He plugs defensive holes, snuffs out nascent rallies before they can ignite, and extends innings for his own team, a silent guardian against the inherent chaos and unpredictability of the game. His relentless, almost mechanical consistency isn't born of mere natural talent or fleeting inspiration, it's forged in an almost ritualistic dedication, a deep-seated commitment to perfection, exemplified by his meticulous pre-game routine. This precise choreography of specific stretching sequences, mental visualizations, and personal affirmations is a ritual from which he rarely deviates, no matter the stadium, the opponent, or the stakes. This dedication to an unwavering ritual makes his performance feel less like a human endeavor filled with peaks and valleys, and more like the infallible output of a perfectly programmed entity, a baseball automaton engineered for peak performance, day in and day out, season after season, without variance. After leaving the Braves, the only professional team he had ever known, and joining the Dodgers, the transition was seamless, almost disturbingly so. It was as if he merely changed uniforms, not environments, not teams, not the very essence of his impactful presence. The same prodigious gap power, the same unparalleled plate discipline, the same smooth, devastating swing, the same quiet, unwavering leadership, the same elite, game-changing defense, all translated effortlessly, instantaneously, proving unequivocally that his profound impact was intrinsic, not circumstantial. He wasn't a product of a specific system or a particular coach, he was the system, a self-contained, perfected unit of baseball excellence that could plug into any winning machine and, without missing a beat, elevate it further, raising its ceiling to unforeseen heights. His presence on a new team didn't feel like a high-stakes gamble or a hopeful experiment, it felt like a foregone conclusion, another inevitability in a career already defined by them. Opponents don't just face the formidable Dodgers lineup, they face the unwavering, unnerving certainty of Freddie Freeman, a singular presence that warps the very fabric of the game around him, an anomaly that redefines what is possible. He's not just a complex puzzle to solve, he's a fundamental, unbreakable law of baseball physics that cannot be circumvented, cannot be broken, and can only, with a growing sense of dread, be endured. This isn't the familiar, comforting story of a dramatic villain who revels in chaos, or a tragic hero whose flaws make him relatable. It's the profoundly unsettling narrative of absolute, unfailing competence, a relentless, quiet perfection that chills more than it inspires. Freddie Freeman exists not to entertain with flashy theatrics or dramatic outbursts, but to dismantle with surgical precision, to systematically erode the will of his opponents. There's a subtle, pervasive dread that follows him, not because he is outwardly threatening or boisterous, but precisely because he represents an unyielding, almost cold, inevitability. He's the statistical anomaly that defies all normal variance, the calm, unblinking eye of the storm that relentlessly grinds down opponents, not with fury or passion, but with an almost mechanical, emotionless perfection. Every perfectly placed hit, every impossibly scooped throw at first, every grueling walk drawn after a seemingly endless 10-pitch at-bat, adds another drop to the slowly rising, suffocating tide of despair for the opposition. You can scout him with an army of analysts, you can strategize against him with the most brilliant minds in baseball, but you cannot escape the fundamental, immutable truth of his presence. He will find a way to impact the game, to leave his indelible, suffocating mark, consistently, mercilessly. His greatness isn't a thrilling, unpredictable roller coaster ride for the fans, it's more akin to a slow-motion car crash for the other team, an inescapable fate unfolding with agonizing clarity before their very eyes. The mild dread comes from realizing that his perfection isn't just about winning games, it's about the systematic, almost clinical removal of hope from everyone else on the field. He doesn't just beat you, he convinces you, with every calculated swing and every flawless play, that you were never truly in the fight to begin with, that the outcome was predetermined from the moment he stepped onto the field. He is the quiet, insistent hum of a perfectly tuned engine, endlessly running, endlessly performing, an unnerving testament to what happens when prodigious talent is fused with an almost supernatural dedication to flawlessness, to a machine-like consistency that drains all joy from the struggle. And as the game churns on, relentlessly, perfectly, always perfectly, what then does it truly mean to witness such a complete, unsettling mastery of the very essence of the game?